Battalion 1.
We just had a plane crash into Alpha 4 of the World Trade Center. Transmitter.
Welcome to Jack here 3. When you see any movement in there, I want you to hit it. Out. Roger. We're taking fire from airplane. Building 11211.
421, eastbound, red Pontiac G6, near passenger, George Robert. X-ray.
Car standby. Car standby. 50 officer.
Trade Center, tower number 1 is on fire. The whole outside of the building, there was just a huge explosion.
Right outside the building, 33. Right outside the building. 744.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today we have a first-generation Cuban American, originally from Virginia. He attended the U.S. Naval Academy and served in the U.S. Navy for 10 years as a helicopter pilot. And now he works as a commercial airline pilot. I'd like to welcome to the show my friend, Alex Trujillo. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Seriously, it's I think it's awesome what you guys are doing here at Lawman and starting this podcast. I think it's legit.
We've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's been a fun ride so far. But real quick, I don't know if you know how we met. So Alex and I, we ruck every month, and he got invited to a brother-in-law, I think, right?
Yep.
And we're just walking through Wesselman's Woods, and he just kind of mentioned something to me, and turns out we find out that we were actually at the same command for a couple of years together and had no idea. And never crossed paths or anything.
Yeah, we might have. I mean, but Paul kind of looks like every other guy that's at that command. So
a little smaller, but yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, so it was really cool running into somebody who kind of had some of the same that I had. So
yeah, very small world. Now we're like, oh, you know that guy? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was wild. I never thought I'd run across anybody around here from that. So small world.
Agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to jump right into it, man. Very interested. I know we've talked a little bit before, but very interested in kind of your career trajectory, we'll say. I want to start off right away. Naval Academy grad, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What possessed you to want to go to the Naval Academy?
The first time I learned at the Naval Academy, my brother had applied to their summer seminar, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a summer camp. You go for a week. Like, this is the Naval Academy. This is awesome. They do like mini everything, right? Just to get a taste of it, see what it's like. You do like a bunch of push-ups. You have fun, all that jazz. He's 6 years older than me. So I was like, oh, that's cool. He went there, and totally forgot about it until my junior year. I saw it in like a high school. Hey, Naval Academy summer seminar, apply now. I was like, oh, I'll do that. So I applied, got into that. I went to the summer seminar myself. I was like, I think I want to do this. I graduated high school in 2008. So this was like 2007, that's when the economy is kind of doing its downturn right around then. And I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I can go here. I'll have a job when I get out. I don't need to think about what I'm going to do for a little while. So yeah, applied and got in and
just
went
on from there.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about it. I was like, well, I either can graduate as a ensign or a second lieutenant. I didn't know what a second lieutenant was, which is a Marine Corps officer. I was like, oh, cool. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just go on a boat and who cares?
So I've been to Annapolis a few times, actually, to the Naval Academy, and walked around there, like, beautiful campus.
Yeah, you go there and you're like, I want to be here.
Yeah. Like, what is the life like outside of school? Because it seems like a really cool area to hang out, but y'all have to wear uniforms.
Yeah, your first 2 years, anytime you go out on Liberty, you got to wear a uniform. And your first year, I don't think you're allowed to drink at all, maybe.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Technically, right? And most of us are 18.
Probably legally, too.
Well, yeah, that too. But like if you were even older, if you like came in as a late grad or you were enlisted before and you came in. But yeah, you had to wear a uniform. We only got to go out Saturday from like noon to midnight or noon to 10 or something like that. Sunday, you couldn't go out as a freshman. So you're like a little prisoner, kind of.
Wow.
And freshman year, you can't have headphones. You're not allowed to listen to music, play video games. We'd all sneak it.
Sure.
You said something earlier. You don't rate that? Like,
yeah.
So we would say you rate what you skate. So if you can skate away and get away, you rate it.
That.
But until you get caught, and you're like, gosh.
So did you did you have like aspirations to be on a boat, or like why Navy?
Why Navy?
Because you can go Navy or Marine Corps,
Sure.
graduating Naval Academy,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Why Navy? And why not the Marine Corps?
Well, I don't like running that much.
Good point.
Legitimately, I thought about Marine Corps because there's a lot of things about the Marine Corps that I really enjoy, like the esprit de corps. There's a lot of tradition in the Marine Corps. I think there's just like a solid group of people that can be Marines. I'm trying to like verbalize this better, but I respected Marines a lot.
Sure.
But it was just too much for me. And I knew myself. I was like, I don't know if I want to be like rucking and being outside all the time and like putting a whole heavy thing, you know.
Oh,
But, so when I got to the Naval Academy, I was like, I'm gonna just be on a boat, whatever. And then I met other officers who had been on the boats, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that guy. And then you do some different training and you do some experiences, and I was like, well, flying seems kind of cool. I like all the pilots that I've met; they seem like chill guys. Like I remember my freshman history teacher; he was a naval helicopter pilot.
Oh,
Super chill dude. Because Naval Academy, 50% are military professors, and then 50% are civilian. So you get like a random lieutenant who's like, yeah, I'll teach history for 2 years, sure.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's just a cool dude. He's like, yeah, I flew like this. It's really awesome, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool. And I kind of, you see what you see, you know, this guy's a tool. That guy's cool. This guy's a tool.
Yeah.
That guy's cool. And, yeah, why not Marines? Just, again, knowing myself, I was like, I don't want to be that intense. Like,
Yeah.
respect it.
Probably a good call. Yeah.
Respect it. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can take a slightly more relaxed, you know, path.
Sure.
And go fly. I will say though, I wrote a lot of history papers. I had an awesome Marine Corps teacher. He was like Marine Corps Reserve. Wrote a lot of papers about like Marine Corps, and I think one of my papers was how the Marine Corps is basically a religion. I like tied all these things together. Like, oh, you have your saints, you got your chesty puller, you know, you got your dogma, you have your church, you know, the TBS, if you will, or you know, infantry school is like the place to go if you want to be like badass. So yeah, a lot of respect for Marines. I think my decision was, I don't like running that much. I don't want to do it.
Good call. Yeah, we do a lot of that, or we did a lot of that. Did you know that? It's always weird to me thinking of somebody who purposely joins the Navy to be a pilot.
Right.
Did you know that you wanted to be a pilot right away, or
no
any idea at all?
I didn't even really know they had that many pilots.
I didn't either.
I hadn't seen Top Gun at that point when I got into the Naval Academy. I don't think I saw it until like
back up. What?
I know, right?
Like the original?
Yeah.
You live in America.
Yeah.
I do now. I've seen it now, so now I can claim that.
First generation.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My parents are like, what is these Top Gun? No, they don't actually have that accent. No, I had never seen it, so I was like, I didn't really realize we had planes in the Navy as much.
That movie is like personally responsible for probably 90% of Navy pilots.
Absolutely.
I mean, without a doubt.
For sure.
I mean,
I agree.
don't
I've
blame
met guys who are like, oh yeah, I watched Top Gun. It's like, I just want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to be a Navy pilot after watching that.
Right.
Not really. But no, that's man, that's like shocking to me. I can't even get past that. You never saw Top Gun.
So I didn't, like I said, I was like, I'll just go be on a boat. That's like kind of convinced my parents, like, you're going to go to what? Like, I'm not only my first generation American, the only military on both sides of my family.
Really?
Of all my cousins, uncles, aunts, everything. Only military. Also the only pilot. Well, my brother will hound me on this one. He's now a private pilot. He got his license. He's like, well, I'm a pilot too. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
He's also a doctor, so he has, you know.
Man, Trujillos are just coming through, man.
Man.
Yeah. So when I said I want to go to the Naval Academy, they're like, you want to do what now? I'm like, yeah, Naval Academy. Like, I'm sorry. No. I was like, no, it's fine. You know, I'll get a job when I get out. I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I can just go and be on a boat. It's totally safe. No big deal. And then I'm like, I want to be a pilot, actually. And actually, I think when I mentioned, like, because I think my sophomore year, I was like, you know, Marine Corps. Let's think about this Marine Corps thing. My mom was like, what?
Yeah, absolutely not. No.
I will say, no military, but we do have cops. My dad's side, I think, like, 3 of his cousins were cops. 2 or 3, and a couple of sons and have firemen. So we got something there.
Awesome. We got some connections going on.
There we go.
There. Yeah. So walk me through. So you graduate, you pick Navy, right? And then you go to flight school. Is that Florida?
Pensacola.
Yeah.
So everything starts in Pensacola, and then depends on your path. You can almost like choose your own adventure. You go to a different spot.
Sure.
But the first thing, it's Pensacola, and it's a lot of just academic. It's a weed out process. You take these tests, and you have to get depends on how much they want to weed you out. Like you have to get a 95 or above, and then some years we kicked out too many, 80 or above.
Yeah.
So I think it was 90% or above on the tests,
Oh,
and it was aerodynamics 1, aerodynamics 2, systems, and weather and navigation like that. And it was basic, and they taught you for 3 days. You take a test. 3 days for 8 hours. You take a test.
Oh my god.
8 hours a day. So it's a lot of high pressure, and it's a weed up process. It's not impossible tests, but they want to see how much you are going to try and work at it.
Yeah, true.
Dedicate to it. And it's. I wonder if they did this on purpose, but you're in Pensacola, Florida, right on the beach. You're you're on the Florida Alabama border, and there's a bar there called Floribama.
Oh yeah, been there.
There you go. Me too. Too many times.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they do it on purpose. They're let's see if these idiots can figure it out. You have to balance your life, and because you come from the Naval Academy, where I was saying as a freshman, at least you're in a jail, right? You can't leave. Your liberties get better as you get older, but still, you're in a pretty isolated, or pretty strict place. Not too much.
Yeah.
And then you have this freedom, and you're being paid as an officer in the Navy. You're this is whoa, right? I have more freedom and money than I've ever had in my life. Let's party it up. And well, you still got to do this school thing.
How many people you think get dropped for partying?
It's hard to say if it's strictly for partying.
Yeah.
They told the horror stories, when you're in school, and we had former midshipmen at the Naval Academy. I think this was a story I remember. They were shooting birds that were nationally protected birds. They were just on a boat and let's get them. Dumb shit.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. So what you're telling me is you and Brian and I could never be pilots.
That's what I took from that whole conversation. He said test, and I was out.
He said aerodynamics. I was like, what?
I can't even spell that.
I wouldn't even no idea what that even means.
I was a history major, guys. I just figured it out barely. But
yeah, but you had to do something, right? It seems like there's got to be just a higher level of intelligence that even gets selected to go into that, right? They're not going to look at me based off my ASVAB and be like, dude, you need to go be a pilot.
I don't know. I can't speak to your ASVAB.
It's not good.
Before you can apply even to be a pilot from the Naval Academy, you take I don't remember the name of it.
It's like a pre-test to even see if you even try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to score at least a 333, and I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah.
those are the mins you have to get.
Man.
Yeah. So they kind of weed that out, and then how's your overall ranking at the Naval Academy, and then they select you.
Yeah.
So even then, if I said, hey, I want to be a pilot, and they're like, nah, you didn't score well enough. You were pretty low ranking in your class.
What's the attrition rate look like, roughly, if you had any idea?
Navy or
at pilot?
Man, I wouldn't even know to guess. I mean, I knew a couple guys who didn't want to do it. A couple people who just failed out.
Sure.
Probably one girl in my class that failed out. Another buddy of mine, he's like, I just don't want to do this. He took a flight. He's like, I got airsick. I didn't feel like I wanted to do it at all. So
yeah, that would be me, 100%.
I was terrified it was going to be me.
Yeah.
I actually am terrified of heights. If I go to a top of, maybe not this building, but a bridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't look down. Which is funny because now I go to 35,000 feet. I'm like, oh, there's my house.
Yeah.
There's Gainesville. But it's different, right?
Yeah, there's I get everything sick. I get seasick, air sick, car sick. I get walking around sick. And the scariest thing I ever heard in my life at the last unit I was at, I was taking a sailing course, to learn how to be a captain, a boat captain, for sailing. I don't even know the right terminology, but
a skipper.
Yeah, sure. But we were getting sailing certifications, international and all this stuff. And it was a lot of fun, but I was loading up on Dramamine before I went because I know me. And the guy who was teaching us was like, you can actually die from seasickness. And I was like, what? He's like, it doesn't actually kill you, but you just keep throwing up so much, you get dehydrated and you die from being just nauseous forever if you can't get off a boat. I was like, dude, that sounds like I would rather burn to death than have that happen to me. What a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
So keep that in the back of your mind.
So we're not going on a plane flight anytime soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have nightmares about that.
That's
that is just crazy that you can die from that. No, thank you.
I wouldn't have guessed that, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah. You're just puking the entire time.
You just
can't reload your electrolytes.
You can't hold anything in and you just eventually die. I never fact checked that, but it checks out.
Yeah, logically, I get it. I get it.
So, why helicopters? Why not? Why not Top Gun?
So I wonder if part
Fast
of my like
movers.
fear of getting airsick or like, man, pulling too many G's and you're like, ooh, right? Fear or like, I don't really want to do that played a factor in this.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of things helicopter wise that I enjoyed. Like that history teacher I had, first exposure to naval aviator. He was an awesome dude. I really liked him. I got a ride in a helicopter when I was still a midshipman, still at the Naval Academy, and I was like, this is very cool. And I like the idea of just being low. And it seemed like the best in between. I'm like, I'm still going to be in the air, but I'm not like, 30,000, feet in the air. And like, ooh, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of just being able to see everything. Again, I legitimately got to see her. Like we called it I follow roads. So there's different flight rules.
Yeah.
So there's visual flight rules and instrument flight rules. But IFR for the helicopters, I follow roads, not instrument flight rules. You're like, oh, there's 95. Yeah, pick that up, and then you make a second exit over there, and you kind of follow that, and there's my house. Like, oh, yeah, there it is. And you can literally just fly over.
Driving.
Yeah.
You just look down and see it.
Yeah, you're 500 feet off the ground, 1,000 feet off the ground.
What's safer? That's probably a relative question, but
people would probably say plane.
If you're going to crash in one or the other, and I guess it depends on the mechanism of crash, but what do you think the survivability rate?
Probably better in a plane.
You think so?
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, yeah. I fly planes now.
Yeah.
Probably better in a plane because you're more than likely going to be higher.
So
and
you can
better chance you can kind of glide, fly into place to land,
kind of
flip it inverted if you're Denzel.
Hell yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Flight. You seen what I'm talking about?
Is that a move?
No.
Is that like a real move?
I don't think so.
I feel like that would be counterproductive. You just smash everyone in the cab.
Yeah, it'd be.
Have you seen this movie?
Flight?
No. Denzel, he's like drunk and he's flying these people and he's about to crash and he like turns the plane upside down.
Control back. So he flips it so he can push forward.
And he just like lands it upside down.
I think he flips it back over.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he like landed on the.
I think he rolls it back over and then lands. But it gave him time, basically.
Oh, okay.
So really what that tells me, when the seatbelt light comes on, I should probably wear that.
Better put it.
I am the savage, like, no, I'm not doing it.
No.
I'll act like it's buckled, but it's not.
I need to get out of here if I have
A little adrenaline rush. Yeah, I'm scared of being stuck in my seatbelt.
Oh, yeah, I like that little bump. Give me the bump
My
again.
phobia, I'm stuck in my seat and I can't get out.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, keep going.
I would say planes still.
Yeah.
I mean, helicopters, we trained all the time for auto rotation, but it's like, I imagine if it's like the time you least expect it, or you're hovering and you're like, oh, shit, I'm only at 50, 100 feet, and you got to either that or you're going to kind of hit hard.
Yeah, you just kind of dump it really hard there. And
Yeah.
that's not going to be good.
I mean, you flew in helicopters a couple times?
couple times.
Couple
Yeah.
hundred times? Yeah.
Crashed in one once.
Did you?
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hard landing.
Okay.
Felt like a crash from the inside.
Sure.
When you're standing up, getting ready to run out of the back, and all of a sudden it just drops at 12 feet, and you got 100-pound pack on.
Yeah.
Everybody just smashes into a giant pile.
Was that a Chinook?
53.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Even bigger.
Yeah, just dumped right down on us.
53 is like a Mongo helicopter.
The Sea Stallion.
Yeah.
It's
huge,
like single rotor,
but it has like 8
huge
blades.
helicopter. Yeah, 8 blades, and it's got a big ramp that goes down the back. The Chinook, which he was talking about, were like the double, which we had the 46 as
Yes,
well,
the
the
Frog.
Frog, which is a smaller version of a Chinook. But
Yeah, there's a 53.
there you go. There's a
She's
53 right
big
there.
boy.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, so you felt like what a hard landing. That was just a hard landing from 12 feet.
Yeah.
Imagine you're hovering at 100 and you can't auto rotate well enough. And you're just going to pancake a little bit. As a plane, you're never going to be hovering, never going to be stationary, and you can kind of just glide it, find a field, and
Yeah.
put it down,
No,
theoretically.
I mean, most of my helicopter experience were Marine Corps, Navy helicopters, and then a couple of civilians. Like a couple times in the Philippines, they had contracted birds, and it would be like the Bells.
Yeah.
Like, they look like Hueys,
Yeah.
like the old kind of Vietnam style.
Okay.
And you would just sit right there in the back, and I always was like, I would watch them, right? And I'm like, I could do that. I could definitely do that. So if you had 15 minutes to explain to me how to fly a helicopter.
I could explain it to you. The actual mechanism of learning that monkey skill.
Yeah.
Moving your feet, moving your hand, moving your both hands and up and down, left, right. That takes time. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
when I went through training, they're teaching you to hover, and you're like, well, you're like a wild bucking dog. You're like, what the hell? I can't do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. He put me in front of a tree line. He's like, don't go forward. I'm like, what the? He's like, we're gonna kill ourselves.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that on my zero turn sometimes. My mower.
Oh,
Yeah.
trying to get it all
I
together.
can't do zero turns. I didn't
Exactly the same.
Same stress, I'm sure.
Almost killed myself on a zero turn. I was at my buddy's house. I don't have one, so I'm the same. If I haven't used, I'm like, oh, I gotta fucking, And he had like a little ditch in his driveway, and I went like, he's like, I haven't seen all 4 blades on my zero turn before. I'm like, gunk. I was like, oh shit.
I've done that. I almost went backwards in it.
Yeah.
I had to like sit forward and try to like balance it and like ease back. And I was like, well, that's how you die.
Yep.
Right there.
Or at least chop a leg off.
Yeah. No, thanks.
No.
There's actually like kids get wrecked all the time on those. They sit, if you're like sitting with their dad or whatever and riding.
Yeah. It's my wife's biggest fear if I take a kid on a riding mower.
I don't even let my kids outside when I'm mowing now. Because I heard one horror story of a guy just mowing his lawn and he kicked up a rock and it like hit his kid and killed him and he didn't even know it. And I was like, nope, never again.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's wild how that happens.
I don't like it either. Or if I'm weed whacking and I myself am getting like spit on grass.
Yeah,
I'm like, get inside.
Get inside, save yourself. I imagine that like once you get to flight school, right, you have an idea of what you want to fly.
Yeah.
And it's probably pretty competitive.
Can be. Helicopters wasn't when I was, because I feel like I wanted to fly. I knew I did. Jets is the most competitive. They're like,
Yeah, I
I
would
want to be a
imagine.
jet pilot, right? And you have to have higher grades for it. So the process is again like, hey, grades. How have you been doing in flight school? And your grades are a little bit subjective. They try to make it as objective as they can, but it's just your instructor. And he's like, he did this well. He did this not well. He did this really well, right? And it's graded on the scale.
Is there like a fair level of like trash talking between guys who want to go be helo pilots and guys that don't? I could see there, one is lesser than the others.
One time I had a guy, I was at a bar talking to a girl, and I think he was his ex.
Mm.
He walked up, and I think he was a little upset. He's like, this conversation is too slow for me, because I was a helicopter guy, and he was a jet guy. I was like, oh my gosh, you're the worst. Literally the worst.
Oh, gosh.
Other than that, not really. It was the jet guys knew they wanted to be jet guys.
Yeah.
And that's more power to them. Like,
I could just see that being highly competitive and just like, having gone through like selections and stuff like that, where you have to perform and you have to show up every day, just like the stress that comes with it. Like
the thing is,
how do you manage that?
There's nothing I could do against you, right? So it's all just me.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. There's no way for me to be like, I'm going to take Paul out and I'm going to get the jet slot. I'm like, no, all I can do is do my best in the plane. And hopefully the instructor sees that I'm trying hard and I'm working my butt off and he'll give me good scores. And they weigh it, all the scores, all based on, I don't know, I don't remember how they do it. But I remember...
That's a good piece of advice for anybody wanting to go and be a pilot someday through the military is...
Oh, for sure.
You're competing with yourself, not everybody else.
That may be worse, honestly.
Yeah, right?
Like, seriously, I think a lot of times I'm my own worst enemy and I get my own head. But if I know I got to beat you out for something, like, let's go.
Right, because you can see the other person. You're in the sprint. You're like, I'm going to beat him. But if it's you, I'm also my own worst enemy, very much so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would... that would, like, fuel me, watching guys... drop on request like DOR, people that just quit and sit on the side of the road and pop the red chem light. I'd be like, all right, I made it past one more.
I'm still going.
There's one more guy, and it would fuel me, and I loved it. Sorry for them, but I was like, okay, I'm not the worst. Here we go.
And there is that too. Like you see, like when I saw some people fail, I'm like, dang. All right, well, I just got to keep trugging because I don't want to do that. I don't want to drop it. I don't want to fail because I didn't study hard enough or I didn't work hard enough. That was always kind of what kept me going. I didn't want to, for better or for worse, I didn't want to fail, right?
Yeah.
Because that can have a dark side of it too. This fear of failure, like I will not fail, can really mess you up at times. It can push you too far. That's probably, though, what pushed me through a lot of the flying, going through flight schools. Like, I'm not going to be one that fails. No way. That's not me.
Well, you would have to have an insane amount. I mean, how old were you when you were going through flight school?
23. Yeah, 23, 24.
Yeah, just the amount of like maturity that you would have to have even starting off going to that thing. Like, I know who I was when I was 23. there's no way I could buckle down and take tests.
Yeah.
And
again, I think that's why they test you, and they like test you not just on the physical test or actual test you're taking, but like you're in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Figure it out. You know, if you don't, you're gone. You're going to go do something else. That's not being a pilot.
That's a good way to gauge character and maturity in some people very fast, I feel like.
Remember, it was like the hardest test we had coming up, and it was Saturday, and this big thing called mullet toss. It was a huge party on the beach. Everyone goes.
Mullet toss?
Yeah, you throw a fish.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a mullet. It's a fish, right?
Yep.
But I think they did a double entendre with it, like, oh, yeah, the mullet toss. Like,
yeah.
You think some guys like,
a couple guys had mullets. Yeah.
And I just remember it was Saturday and everyone's at the beach. And I'm like, I got to study. So I went to the schoolhouse. I did like 4 hours of work. I'm like, this sucks. But I ended up going to the beach. But it was like, you know, a good reminder. Like, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
If you can always party. You can always go out. We can always have fun. But if you fail this test, then that's it.
Yeah. I think it's just having that perspective of like knowing why you're there.
Yeah.
And like really knowing why you're there, which a lot of 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
Very hard.
I think also I'll say, and it just reminded me, on a practical level, we actually helped each other out a lot. So we were in a class and you'd kind of know, you would find a group, and there was going to be a group of like 4 of us. Like, hey, I'm going to stay after for like 2 hours and study. Like, okay, I'll do that with you. So class would be over and we'd just stay in the classroom and like reviewing everything we just learned. And then we quiz each other, right? Or like, hey, tell me about this. I'm like, okay, I teach it. And I figured if I can teach it, then I know it, and I can pass it on a test. So to the point of like, you know, was there competition? I think everyone's there to help each other out. And this was a mix of Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard potential pilots.
Oh, I didn't realize Coast Guard went there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they obviously do have pilots. It makes sense. So which platform did you end up settling with?
I wanted the H-60 Sierra, which was more of a Black Hawk looking type thing. It was more of what could potentially do like combat search and rescue, or they would do like, they'd carry all the guns and they'd be like your attack helicopter for the Navy. I wanted that because there was also potential like working with SEALs and, you know, doing drops for them and whatnot. And I got the H-60 Romeo, which was the nerdier one, I guess. We're the ones that had like the radar. We had FLIR. I mean, the other one had FLIR too. We had sonar. We could drop buoys. We could drop a sonar dipper in the water.
Is this it here?
Yes, that picture.
Oh, right there. That one right there.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Black Hawk a little bit.
Yeah, the difference, you know, Black Hawks have the tail wheel. So you see the picture right to the left there? That's doing the vert rep?
Yep.
Not that one.
Nope.
That one. To the right. Up, right there. That's a Sierra. See the tail wheel all the way in the back? And they're really good at vert rep, search and rescue.
What is a vert rep?
Sorry, vert rep is vertical replenishment. That's what they're doing right there.
Oh.
They attach a hook up onto under the helicopter and they replenish the ships. They just move cargo back and forth.
Oh, okay. So what's kind of, I mean, if it's not an attack helicopter, that makes sense to me. Like, what's kind of the primary mission of the platform?
Romeo?
Yeah.
Anti-surface, anti-submarine, electronic warfare.
Like detection and...
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we would do on a basic day-to-day mission was take off from the ship, put like a 50-mile circle around it, and just identify every contact that we saw and pass it down to the ship. Like, hey, we see this fishing boat over here at bearing whatever, that's that. Up here, bearing this, oh, actually, that's Iranian warship or whatever. Okay, yeah, we know about him. Okay, cool. We're just given a picture for the ship to see, so when they're moving in their box of patrol or whatever, they know who's who in the zoo. And then occasionally, hey, we have information and intel about a submarine. We would start shooting buoys. We could dip. So we had this like cable that comes down that's attached to a big sonar transducer, and we would just shoot out energy.
Oh, just you can track submarines.
So track submarines. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Or sonar buoys that would just listen for submarines as well.
So when you deployed on a ship, and then you would fly
off ship and then fly around and then come back.
Is it how much more difficult is it to land on a moving ship than it is the ground?
Well, it's moving.
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine.
I don't know how I would say if it's like more. There were nights when it was definitely more difficult. Like, dude, it's night, it's pitch black. You're on goggles, night vision goggles, and it's rocking good amount, right? And what I really miss a little bit about the helicopter is just how much you're in control of it. Even this big giant, I don't know, it's 15,000 pound hunk of metal, your little micro movements that you start making, which I'm sure you guys have gotten familiar with, like firearms, right? It's a part of your body. You just reload, boom, done, right? I'm not there at all. But with the helicopter, you're just like little micro movements and down.
Yeah, it looks like it's something you'd have to make some pretty aggressive, maneuvering to get it to move, and you're just
tiny. Like I would like to think I could just do it with these fingers, just a little bit.
So, how many times did you, in 10 years, right? How many times did you end up deploying?
Just twice.
Just twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one was a 7-month deployment, and our deployments. We were East Coast. My squadron was East Coast, so we'd basically go across the Atlantic, through the Med, down the Suez Canal, and into the Gulf of Arabia or Persian Gulf, whatever, Gulf of Arabia. And that's what both of them were out there. So one was 7 months, and the other one was like a 3-month. I split with somebody else. So he did the first half, I did the second.
What I always wondered this. So in my 20 years, I spent probably 3 weeks total on a ship.
A boat.
And I always wondered what life was like on the other side of the living quarters.
Right.
Because I know where we slept.
Yeah.
It was not a lot of room.
Yeah, not great.
You're the same way?
No, better.
Yeah, I would assume.
It was, instead of 40 to a room, I guess, for your you berthing.
Yeah.
I think the first deployment, we were in a Jack and Jill staterooms. So it was 3 guys and a bathroom in between us, and then 3 guys on the other side.
Okay.
And we had our own little space, our own little closet, or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot more room already than what we had.
I had a space for my own closet, right? Second deployment was 5 guys in a room, but it was a bigger room, obviously.
Yeah.
And the only bummer of that is I had to walk down the hallway to go to the bathroom. So you put on a bathrobe and your flip-flops on, but that's like standard. It's always awkward. You're like, hey, what's up? And they're like in the uniform walking by. You're like, just in my bathrobe,
Yeah. We had like coffin racks. Like we were in like the very bottom. You had to like go through a couple little latches and ladder wells to get down to the very bottom of it. And they called them like coffin racks, and it would be like 4 high. And if you weren't in your little coffin, if you were standing outside of it, you were in the way.
Yeah.
There was nowhere to just sit and hang anywhere, even close to the
You kind of had like some spots, like towards the one
in
side
the very
of the
back, there was a little table, maybe about 3 feet by 2 feet, that 2 guys could sit by.
Right. And like one TV.
But there's 40 of us in there.
Yeah.
So there was so we would just go up to the well deck and just like hang out.
Yeah.
Or we'd go up to the top and just.
Was that on LHD?
I was on an LSD.
LSD, okay.
The Nashville, I think, is an LSD.
That sounds right.
It was like, at the time, it was like the oldest ship in the Navy's arsenal. Yeah. And it was not very comfortable.
Those are not great ships. That one's the one, I think LSDs look like a pickup truck in the back.
I know it had us like a well deck because we splashed out of the back of them in tracks, which is awful. But yeah, I don't know. Type in USS Nashville, see what classification that was.
Nice search there.
Not LSD.
USS Nashville.
Yeah, no, not LSD.
There we go. Pickup truck.
What is that?
Oh, that's an LPD.
LPD. I was way off. Yeah, I was on that ship right there.
Nice.
Yeah. When did it get decommissioned? That would be a good question to ask. I was wondering, but no, that was my whole. And we just trained from like Norfolk down to Camp Lejeune area, and it was enough for me. I had enough of that. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, we deployed in 2008.
Nice.
We were supposed to take that ship overseas,
and
they were like, no, we're not going to do the MEU anymore. We're just going to fly you guys straight to Afghanistan. So good job training on ships, but we're just going to go do other things now.
Well, you're Marines. You have to train on ships.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I don't know how I would manage to not spend any time on ship.
That's impressive. That's nice. I mean, I also they count like your sea time. I think I was a little over a year, which is pretty good for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
2 deployments and a couple other stints on an aircraft carrier for like a week or month-ish at a time.
Yeah. So like, here's what I was thinking, or I wanted to ask you about. So it's like, being a ground guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the military, we all have our kind of stress or anxiety that we have to deal with in the day-to-day jobs that we do, right? But being, it's like I'd have to get kitted up. We'd get a mission order and, we're getting ready to go out and do this or do that. And, 9 out of 10 times there's somebody waiting there for you, right? So you're just like, okay, let's go do it.
Not someone nice waiting for you, right? Like
yeah. No, yeah. It's not a welcome.
Yeah. A different kind of welcoming.
Yeah, a different kind of welcoming party. But like, I just want to hear kind of your kind of insight on being a pilot where, I imagine every day, me getting ready is just me throwing on kit, right?
Yeah.
Like every day that you're working, regardless of what's happening around, you're still flying a 15,000 pound aircraft around. You still have to land on a moving ship.
Sure.
Or even like possible threats or things that are happening and you get all amped up and you ramp up to go and then it's not going to happen. Or you go and, this back and forth, like how do you stay motivated? How do you,
So, like anything, same thing where you get kitted up, you're like, let's go.
Yeah.
But it kind of becomes normal, right? Like being a cop, walking the streets every day, like whatever, this is just what I do. That kind of comes to the same thing for us. You just get normalized, right? Like, we just go fly. And most of the time it was just doing our surveillance deal. Nothing high risk, high potential risk or anything. Besides, flying and landing on a boat, I guess, is the high risk.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that recently because it's complacency is the killer, right? In life.
Yeah.
You get complacent, you stop working out. You get complacent, you stop praying. You get complacent, you stop being a good dad, husband, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I gotta stop being complacent in my current job, like, cause you're super safe. How often do you hear about any accidents in airlines? Rarely. It's a very safe thing. But something I remember saying, and I like it a lot. It's what's different about today. There's always something different about today. And for us flying, it's like, all right, what's different about today? Because we do a standard brief, and it's easy to be like, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah. Like, becomes so routine that it gets overlooked, right? Complacency.
One quick question: what's different about today? The weather's better today. That's something.
Yeah.
Oh, there's construction here right now. So when we're taxiing out, current job, we got to keep an eye on that and make sure no cars drive into us or whatever, right, on accident.
Yeah.
There's always something different. I think that allows you to. I was a safety officer also. It's one of our side jobs. And I love kind of learning about different risk management kind of aspects of the job. So that was my favorite question. What's different about today? But for sure, plenty of times where you're just like, whatever. Yeah, we're just flying again.
Yeah.
I got to fly for 3 hours. Like, what song are we going to listen to the whole time? What music are we going to listen to? What games are we going to play?
Could you listen to music while you're up there flying?
Some guys would finagle cords that would pipe into the ICS, the intercommunication system.
Yeah, like headphones and mics.
With our helmet. Yeah, helmet for us. And that was fun. So they'd play music.
Oh, that's cool.
Occasionally you get like a comedian album or whatever, and you're just laughing while you're flying around. But mostly it was just talking. So the crew was 2 pilots and a guy in the back.
Okay.
Our enlisted guy in the back who did all the actual work.
The
God
guy
bless him.
Working his tail off every day out there to make sure this thing stays up in the air.
What I loved about that, it was just the crew concept. So one guy's flying, one guy's working with the guy in the back about mission, like, hey, operating the FLIR, like, hey, what's this guy over here? Oh, yeah. Boom. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I'll send it down.
Yeah.
That's helped a lot. And it's small crew, a small team environment, just 3 of us. Anytime that if there was ever anyone else in the back, it was someone being trained or kind of observed or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was the primary crew, was just 3.
Were you ever like doing any kind of troop transport stuff, or was it just primarily what we talked about?
Since we were so loaded up with computers in the back because we had so many sensors, we didn't have a lot of space even for troops. So the Sierra you saw had a big open window in it.
Yeah,
we had only 1 door instead of 2 doors on either side like a Black Hawk, and we could carry 4 people in the back.
Okay,
yeah, that was about the max.
Yeah,
but yeah, there were. You kind of did ask about the ups and downs, right? There was a lot of. This is maybe a hit on Navy helicopter training, or kind of the Navy in general, or the military in general, right? It's a volunteer force in peacetime for the most part. I know you had a different experience than I did for sure, because you were actually in Ramadi, right?
Oh yeah, couple places,
couple not great places where we're actually fighting in war time, but everyone else is like, well, we're doing nothing.
Yeah.
My time in the Navy was nothing's really happening. So we train to fight a submarine. We train to shoot our Hellfire missile. We train to shoot our guns. We're never doing that, right? Because we're going into the Gulf of Arabia. It's Iran. Yeah. They're not going to come attack us because they know better, first of all. Second of all, and we're not going feet dry. So we're not the actual helicopters going into the mountains of Iraq or Afghanistan or going over the cities to drop guys off or shoot. That's not what our job was.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like, man, we train for all this, but I don't do shit. It was a good mission what we were doing. It was still like good for what we were
still necessary.
Necessary.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that highlight that like, let's go.
Yeah. Like to that point, I like there's a question, you hear a lot when it comes to like guys or people who get out, right? And there's like this expectation or this assumption that for anyone to have any post-military kind of trauma or struggle or anxiety or issues, they have to be someone who was overseas in combat.
And if you weren't over their head.
Yeah, and if you weren't, then there should be nothing wrong with you, right? And I disagree with that like wholeheartedly.
Sure.
And I just, I'd love to hear your kind of input on that, on some things that, I don't know, maybe not yourself, but in your community, some things that people, I mean, we just talked about the highs and lows. I mean, like Brian said last time, trauma is trauma, right? Stress is stress. It still does something to your body, either physiologically or even
it changes you. I think they've seen physical changes right inside of your brain.
And if you're constantly doing this up and down, get ready to go, no. And then even the act of putting on my kit and flying would be stressful to me, right? Where it's just like you do all this, and at least I would say, for better or for worse, or better or worse, when I would get kitted up, most of the time I could do what I was getting kitted up to do. Right. Where it's like this constant up and down, like
it would kind of suck if you didn't. You're about to get all kitted up, you're ready to rock and roll. You're pounding your pre-workout.
Yeah. It's like
let's go.
We didn't get all dressed up for nothing.
Dang it.
And has that happened? Yeah. I mean, obviously quite, are you going to a dry hole and there's nobody there, whatever, but still it's just like, you're way up here and your adrenaline and your anxiety and everything, and all of a sudden it just crashes when it doesn't happen, right? And you got
your amygdala is pumping all this.
Like, did you experience a lot of this? I mean, I'm just making assumptions, but I'd like to hear your opinion on it.
Not a lot. So I would say a majority of the time things were safe, things were good. We would just fly, do our mission, come back. There were a couple times, coming back to the back of the boat, landing it late at night. It was really, really dark. Other guy was flying, and he got a little bit of spatial disorientation, vertigo, whatever you want to call it, depth perception issue.
Yeah.
And we were probably like feet away from crushing the boat, like running into the boat.
Oh.
So we like pulled away, flew away, and I landed it. That was a good, like, you have those once every couple months, like, okay, yeah. So those happen, and they certainly like spike, right? You have your adrenaline spike. There was a time, so it's funny, like I'm talking like I never did anything. The October of, what's that, 16? October of 16, Houthi rebels from Yemen started shooting into the Red Sea, and my ship went out there to be a sponge, basically. I think command was there at one point.
Yeah.
And that was like high stress. And we were like, our ship was shot at 3 separate times by surface-to-surface missiles. They're saying the brevity word for ships, missile inbound is vampire. They're saying it every other night, like vampire, and we're getting shot at again. And it's like, it's almost worse in a way. I'm not trying to say it's no. But it's almost worse. Like, we're in a ship, we're in a safe environment that no one's ever shot at a Navy ship. I mean, that I can think of, right?
Can I pause you? Because I feel like that would be way more terrifying to me. I mean, like every ship or every movie you watch, you're just in this giant metal thing, and all of a sudden there's fires, and you're locked, and you can't get out.
Like, let us out.
There's no bounding. You can't get to a better spot.
I can't go run to a better spot.
There's no exfil spot. Right?
Yeah, and then the USS Indianapolis. Like, and if I do survive, I'm gonna get eaten by sharks. No doubt about it.
Actually, earlier I was just telling a captain this story the other day. Earlier in this same deployment, I was 50 miles from the ship, and we got a chip light. So a chip light is it's a magnetic detector that picks up metal pieces. So if it's in your transmission, that means your transmission is starting to like eat itself up. Why is there metal inside?
Oh, sure.
Right? And it's like, it's grinding up and just eating away. And we got it like 50 miles away. I was like, oh, because the emergency procedure guides you path like, hey, if you have secondaries, land immediately, which means put it in the water. And, now you're waiting for the ship to get to you for 2-3 hours. So that's one of those moments where you're like, dang it, please. We got to the ship. It was just a faulty sensor. I'm like, can we fix the fucking sensor, please?
Yeah.
I don't need this stress in my life.
I mean, it's even like we used to have to we would do like a little training thing for like if you did go in the water and there's oil spills out and the water's on fire. It's like how to like move it out of the way and splash it before you surface so you don't breathe in a bunch
and die.
Catch on fire and then drown, which is just as awful.
Can you imagine you're on fire while you're drowning?
Yeah,
because you're covered in oil.
I would take that over seasick death.
Yeah,
I would.
That's fair. I don't know if I would, but
yeah, I would take that over that. At least it'd be faster.
But yeah, this deployment we're getting shot at, and it was wild. I still remember I was sitting in this little bubble on the back of the ship where the helicopter lands. We have this little bubble. We kind of watch them landing, and I remember seeing our missiles do our defense missiles launching to intercept the missiles. I'm like, dang it, please don't hit me here where I'm like exposed. I'm in the outside of the skin of the ship, kind of thing. And probably like. You have these moments and people say, do you have PTSD? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to define myself and whatnot. But there are moments where I'm like, yeah, that was intense. I remember that.
It's not a normal human experience.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was I think it was the last night we were shot at, and we're all like in the galley. We're like, all right, we're going to do this. We're doing this. I'm like, all right, what can I do? And they'd already written a schedule, and I'm on the schedule for first takeoff tomorrow morning. Like, Alex, you got to go to bed because you got to fly tomorrow morning. And we have rest rules, because we're still operating heavy machinery. So it's like,
so do we.
Do you?
No,
you don't.
No, we did not. No, we did not. No.
They're like, you slept an hour. Good.
Yeah. Good enough. Get out there.
So we have rest rules. Like, you got to go to bed, man, because you're on the first flight tomorrow. I was like, all right. Okay. So I'm getting in my rack. I'm trying to read, and I hear our missiles launching to defend against us. As I'm like, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
No way. There's no way. There's no way I could sleep.
Yeah. Had to. Awake. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So you get up the next morning. You're like, all right. Whew. That was fun. Yeah. What are we doing now?
Yeah.
Dude, and it was... The letdown was actually worse. So they were saying, like, you're going to go shoot, we're going to go attack, and we're going to get the... I don't remember what they were saying, but, like, we were amped up because we had Coast Guard on board, and then we were going to, like, go... Coast Guard SEALs, basically. They're called Interdiction Team, I think. Advanced Interdiction Team.
I don't know anything about the Coast
Pretty
Guard.
legit dudes.
Yeah.
But they were there to, like, go on potential pirate vessels or smuggling vessels because they have legalities with that.
So
right?
this is I think the teams that are over, like, in Venezuela or doing
Yeah.
they were taking the ships, the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
It was kind of their tier guys taking over the
the
ships.
Coast Guard's got some legit dudes out there.
And these guys were awesome. They were with
Doing
us. And
God's work.
we were all talking like, all right, we're going to have them fast rope with us, and we're getting amped. And like, we're going back into the Red Sea. We're going to start shooting people. And we go to Greece, and they kind of say like, actually, we're not going back to the Red Sea. And everyone's letdown was insane. Like, we'd been high for like 2-3 weeks, and we go to Greece for a port visit. There was one guy I don't think he tried to kill him. He was trying to jump off a balcony, like a 2-story balcony. We're like, what are you doing? And I think he was just like frazzled up, right?
Oh, man.
And the letdown when we came back and we're like, we're going back in the Red Sea, and we didn't do anything. We kind of stayed away from the fight. Like,
yeah.
That was it. I'm curious to know, like, is that true? The letdown is worse than, in a way, right? Obviously, you're not in danger, so it's
no.
better,
I would agree with that, and the whole reason I wanted to talk about this is to kind of dispel that kind of idea that you have to be this, war-hardened, savage to be able to have PTSD or PTS is that what they call it now, and I don't think that's true because, I was an infantry guy, right? Mm-hmm. The number one thing that every infantry guy wanted was a combat action ribbon, right?
Can I pause real fast?
Yep.
I have one because my ship was shot at. Dude, the amount of Marines I met at a wedding one time, they're like, you have a combat action ribbon? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I'm telling you.
They hated me.
Yeah.
They did not like me because I got it, and they're like, well, we don't have one.
Yeah. You don't have to explain it either, right? Like to them, right? Like, well, I do and you don't. Sorry, man.
I have the hat. Do you have the hat?
No, I don't.
My buddy got me a combat action veteran or whatever.
Oh, perfect. No.
I should wear it more often.
You have to like Golden Corral on the weekend, get your discount.
I wanted to get one of those hats that just has the national defense ribbon on it. You know?
Yeah, I like that. Like the ice.
The one that everyone
gets it.
Actually, you don't now.
Really?
We're not in a time of war.
Because they finished it finally.
Side note, I don't know where I was with my wife, and there was this Marine in uniform, and I was just like, PFC, like an E2. And I was like, hey man, like, why aren't you wearing a national defense? My entire career, everybody,
Since 01, right?
You graduate boot camp, you have at least one little ribbon because you served during a time of war, I think is the qualification.
And it was
for it.
GWAT.
And this guy did not have it. And he said, no, we don't get them anymore because we're not, the global war on terrorism is over. And I was blown away by that. I was like, holy.
That was how people knew we were Naval Academy, because we had that, but then we had our marksman ribbons. And like, oh, you got your 3.
Yeah.
Because other ROTC would just have.
The Navy's got a ribbon for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
You guys don't get ribbons for shooting.
No. They have little.
They're medals.
Little medals you can wear in uniform, but not in your camis. You're not wearing it. So.
Sorry, I interrupted. So everyone wanted to get the combat action.
That was just like the thing, right? And it's, my first deployment was Fallujah. That's pretty easy to get one there, right? And it was like this coveted thing. And it was like, at least you could say, anybody looking at you like that, you've been in combat. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why it's so important, and I certainly felt it when I was young, and that's what you want to do. This is what we train for all day. I want to use it. And then you get to use it. So you feel like you've accomplished something. But, I have I had a couple friends, when I was going into MARSOC, a lot of the early war, like real kinetic combat missions were kind of going away for the ground troops. I mean, they were still there. This was like 2009, 2010, but it was very far and few. And I remember my class graduating, there was everybody, out of 30 of us, everybody except like 2 guys had a combat action ribbon.
Wow.
The very next class, I think 1 guy had a combat action ribbon.
So it's going further and further.
So there's a disparity. Yeah. And, it was just a guaranteed thing. Like everybody I knew had one because we were all together, right? And then all of a sudden, they're getting lower and lower, and it's no fault of their own, right? It's the luck of the draw or the, unluck of the draw, right? It's just, and I tell people that too, when I was going through infantry school, last name starts with an L, and they broke it up at L and M. Mm-hmm. So this half goes to this unit, this half goes to that unit. That half that went to the other unit
didn't go.
There's guys that they just went and did med floats, and they never had a chance to go and even do anything like that. But I had a friend. He was my age, like age in the Marine Corps. We kind of came up together, but I mean, he was hitting like E6, and we would go to a ball or something like that, and everybody's got all their war ribbons on, and he didn't have one. This guy, I mean, he had some serious insecurity issues about, like, he felt completely unworthy.
Impotent, probably.
I've seen him like super drunk and just like getting emotional and crying about how he didn't feel like he was worthy to be around us. And it's just, man.
I'd love to unpack this more, because there's this idea you have to, and I get it, like you want to do what you're training for.
Yeah.
There's that aspect.
Yeah.
But like there's this reckless abandon almost of like, I want to go fight. But like that means, why do you want to go into this dangerous, high potential of death spot? And I mean, as a police officer, was that like, I want to get in the act, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing sports, like I want the guy to come to me, playing soccer or baseball, like hit the ball to me so I can catch it.
And it's easy for me to say, hey, it's not that big of a deal when I've got one, right? So like it was.
But it's almost not good. I mean, there's something not good about and healthy about it, but it's some part of the male psyche.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely the same way in law enforcement is, I remember early in my career, like, if there was an officer involved shooting, like, oh man, that he's a savage. He's a gang. That's who you want to be. Right.
Yeah,
and then I remember after my first incident, I'm like, whew, like a little different on this side of things. Right.
Maybe I don't want to.
But then unfortunately, then I got the high from it. You know what I mean? So I definitely think, there's 2 sides of that. And in law enforcement, I would catch myself even like once I started getting into some of the things I did later in my career on the task force, it was a little more high speed. Like I could catch myself looking at those other things like they weren't valid. Right. But now I look back, I'm like, those things are just as valid. Like all these things are needed to make this machine work.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's definitely.
I think we read like about Thermopylae and the Spartans. You're like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to be a Spartan on the front line. I want to have my shield next to the dude next to me, right? And it's good, but I wonder if like it's also like the young male goal.
Yeah.
Whereas our goals now need to shift and like move away from that. Like there's more to it, right?
I've talked about this before, but I think there's something kind of inherent to every young male of this kind of call to adventure, right? And you're looking for the next adventure. And then you're working your way through the military because that is just the unknown and it's dangerous. And there's a part of us that kind of crave that danger because not necessarily that we want it, but it's almost like you're not going to fully develop into the man you want to be without a little bit of suffering or danger or trials and tribulations.
I agree with that. Trials and tribulations for sure.
It's like you want to get up to that line of almost dying but not die. Right. And I think it's a good character builder, or it can be. It can also have very negative effects as well. But I mean, to the point on the little, it's just a little ribbon, right? And I think Napoleon was talking, I'll screw up this quote, but he said something to the effects of, it's amazing what a man will do for a little piece of cloth.
Yeah.
But it is like, I feel it. And I'm like, yeah, I would do that for a little piece of cloth, and it's.
So you have a Purple Heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like an extra pride there now?
No,
not just combat action, but you now have Purple Heart.
No. Because that's not something. It's like you don't necessarily do something great to get that. You just kind of got caught. In some situations, right? It's not like you went above and beyond and did something heroic necessarily, right?
Maybe, or it could have just been like a bomb hit and shrapnel got you from 20 feet away.
You're sitting there eating chow and you get blown up or something. It's not like, I'm not on the same hand. I'm not like I don't disparage it either, right?
Diminish it or anything. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's a tough one to like kind of understand because
I think the whole question is very interesting. Just because it's not as simple as like it's good that we have men who are willing and be in law enforcement, be in the military, but it's almost like they're searching for something that they don't need to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the whole concept's a little weird to me too. Like you've got wounded, and we're going to award you for,
or you were shot at.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah.
We're going to award you for that. Right. And it's it's a weird thing. I used to joke about it and be like, no, I don't have a Purple Heart. They weren't good enough to get me when I was real young, and then
lo and behold.
Right. But no, I think it back to the original point. I think it's a very good, that kind of, that draw to want that and not be able to get it is almost, man, sometimes it's even more damaging to some guys that I've met. I mean, these guys would have, I'm this big special operations, operator, and I've never been in combat. So how much am I really an operator?
Right. But that's what I'm kind of curious about. Like, why do we tie our whole self, our whole
worth,
person, our worth?
Yeah.
And I felt this as a helicopter pilot. Like, I'm not doing what I trained to do. I want to go shoot a submarine. I want to go shoot a Hellfire. I want to go shoot these bad guys who are Iran's right there. They're a bunch of a-holes, right? Can we please shoot them? And you don't do it. I mean, you got to do it, I guess,
Sure.
But your buddies who didn't. Like, but I mean, it's good that we have this desire to accomplish these goals. But I think as men, like, we need to be able to remove ourselves, like compartmentalize it. Like, yes, accomplish these goals. Yes, be a badass law enforcement officer. Yes, be a badass Marine. Be the best helicopter pilot you can be.
Yeah.
But that's not who you are, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's so much, I think you'd be even a better law enforcement officer, Marine, if you could remove that. You know what I mean? If your whole mission is like, I'm going to get a combat action ribbon because that tells me that I'm a man. It's stupid. There's like that line between courage and recklessness.
Yeah.
It's there.
Exactly.
What we talk about a lot too is like, let's be honest, like a lot of us do that. It's feeding our own ego.
100%.
Right. And as we get older, like I realized that was a lot of my problem when I transition out. It was like, how do I feed my ego now?
Honestly,
and then it became a big problem.
Honestly, a huge part. I don't know how to say huge. I tend to over exaggerate my negatives. A large part of going to the Naval Academy, becoming a pilot, was just like self-image, right?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I'm a pilot. Yeah, I went to the Naval, right?
That's why I went to the Marine Corps, because it was the toughest.
It's the hardest,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't want to see that in the youth today. Like, I wanted you to go over to the military and be a helicopter pilot, be a Marine, not because you're like, well, then people will like me or respect me or think I'm cool. No, it's like an honorable profession. It's a good thing to do. And if you know that you need some like discipline, like, all right, maybe this is a way to garner that and get that. And
I think that's huge. I think that's a huge thing that you just hit on, because when you leave and you don't have that anymore, then what?
Right.
Well, and I feel like it's baked into the cake. I'm not trying to be a contrarian here, but it's also like, if there's not young men out there trying to do this wild and crazy and, thing and looking for that action, would it be as effective as a machine?
Right.
Like, it's almost like you have to have it.
Is this done on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and the different cultures surrounding it, which is like, I really wanted to talk about this because it's kind of funny to me, but I know the culture around ground troops, right? Like, I was a part of it, of a lot of it, right? And especially the Marine Corps. I mean, it's like, why I love the Marine Corps compared to some of my other brothers in the other services, it was like, the kind of common phrase was like, you're all equal pieces of garbage, right? Like, you're just the lows. And like, you weren't looking for special treatment. You just were like, hey, we have no budget. We have the worst gear, but by God, we get it done.
The Marines pride themselves.
We're very good at adapting and overcoming. That's one of our statements that we say a lot, right? But it's like, it's almost to our own detriment. Like, when someone wants to help us,
like, no.
Like, no, we're right. We're good.
We don't need the Rangers. We got.
I don't need a house. I got a hole in the ground.
Right.
It's like this kind of, at the same time though, it's like, there's this brotherhood that's developed in that, where, through the suffering I was talking about earlier, where, man, you just get tighter and tighter and tighter. And like, the camaraderie is unmatched. And I think that, in that, I was in the enlisted world, right? And how does that kind of compare in the officer world, right? Is there, it's almost like trying to explain to someone who wouldn't understand the difference between officer and enlisted. I always looked at it kind of jokingly, but I have
go for it.
Best friends everywhere, right? It's more like kind of like blue collar, white collar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you're young, you don't really understand it. You just like, the officers and their nice cars and their little, segregated housing that we're not allowed to drive through, right? And
or in the ship, we had our own place to eat.
Yeah, they had their own. Yeah, they had these big, nice rooms, and we're just the lowly dregs of the enlisted world, just doing all the work, But they're both necessary for the machine to move forward. But it was, and once you get older, right? And a little bit more mature, you can see there's more of there's a mutual respect there. Yeah. This last weekend, I was just with my old team commander from MARSOC, and the guy's one of my best friends and one of my mentors in life. Andrew, love you, buddy. And we worked together for a whole deployment. We lived together, we worked together, separate from the team on the deployment that we went on. And there's a good mix there when you have an officer and enlisted together, right?
I agree. And I think that mix actually of, if we want to use the same analogy, white collar, blue collar, is necessary for our culture in America as a whole. Because I look at this a lot, like, and you can make an argument that a lot of people who voted, I don't want to get into politics too much, right? I don't know. What do you think? A lot of people who voted for Trump are probably on the blue collar side because they're like down to earth. And I love that.
Sure.
I love that they're down to earth. Like, that guy gets it. He knows what it is to suffer. He knows what it is to work. And then, but you need white collar too, to bring the society up.
Yeah.
In a way, right? Because if it's, and there's things that they can teach each other though.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that, because I learned so much from the enlisted side. because they were the experts. That was always the case. The officer, like, you oversee the whole thing, but you got to rely on your experts.
Yeah.
You know, the guy in the back of the helicopter. You know, I could track a submarine. I knew how to do it. Not nearly as well as that guy in the back. I knew the basics, the fundamentals. He knew how to figure out what submarine it was, what pump they were using on what side of the submarine. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could never do that.
Oh yeah.
But we needed each other because he needed me to have the big picture to be like, hey, take a look at this bearing and tell me what you see there. It's like, oh yeah, there's something there. Like, yeah, I thought so because that's where we got the last intel because he's scope locked.
Yeah.
So it's a necessary thing. And, I think, again, culturally, get your experts, you guys working. We still need others to have the big picture. And maybe it looks different, but it has to something like bring it all together. Package it all. Because if everyone's just working on their thing, no one's working together.
No,
right?
and everybody's had an experience where they had like a bad officer or a bad enlisted.
Usually from the Naval Academy. Just kidding.
Yeah, no.
Ring knockers, they call it.
Andrew was not a Naval Academy
guy.
guy.
That's why he was a good one.
No, I know a lot of Naval Academy guys that were great. But kind of to your point, he was more kind of up and out where I was kind of down and in.
Yep.
The on the ground where the rubber hits the road, getting things done. But without him, I wouldn't have that perspective. And there's also that entire responsibility piece, that they are
Jocko
responsible.
Talks about it pretty well, right? I mean,
yeah.
Extreme ownership.
Yeah.
Say what you will about Jocko, but
which I used to love teasing him, right? Because, we'd be out on the Zodiacs in the middle of the ocean and, and he'd say something like, we don't want to do that or whatever. And, and he would say, no, come on, do it. And then you just take your radio out and just kind of hold it over the ocean. Be like, we're not doing that because I know if I drop this, you're getting fired and I'm not, necessarily, right? Because you lost a radio.
Yeah.
But, just messing with them. We didn't actually do it like that. But, it was, you need somebody to have that kind of overall responsibility. And so, of course, they're going to think differently because there's a lot more on the line. They're looking kind of, strategically and operationally where I'm focused on tactical. Yeah.
And I love when you're like, why do we have to do that, sir? It's like, dude, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't understand. Why do I have to do fine. I don't have time to explain it. That happens so many times. And it is true it's good to have good, respectful balance and challenge. Like, hey, are you sure you want to do that? Why not? This, and this. Oh, yeah. Good call. Actually, we don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah. No, But
I like that strategic versus tactical. Yeah, the officer's probably going to be more your strategic. The enlisted, the guy who's doing the work is going to be your tactical boots on the ground, knows exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
You just maybe need a guide in some cases.
Well, and they can overlap, right? Because, they're always asking. I mean, I know the good officers that I have would always, hey, this is what I think. Like, what do you think from your perspective? Yeah. And, and it was usually way off base, but, I throw in my 2 cents.
And he's like,
yeah, okay. Anyway, anybody else have like a good answer for that?
Right. I would argue that the bad officers are the ones who are just like, we're doing this and that's it.
Yeah.
And take no feedback. They think, I'm an officer. I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just pride getting in the way. It's just
ego.
And then ego and all of a sudden.
Reputation that, the worst officers on earth are the ones that put their reputation above everything.
Or, sandbag their team because, like, I told them not to do it and they did it anyways and blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah, they're looking at future commands instead of focusing right now. Yeah. Oh, man, that was the worst. And we've all had them. But,
that's in that's all over law enforcement.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
Fortunately, before I left, my supervisor was part of our team, and we'd always everybody's opinion counted. We would do a brief. I'm like, all right, here's what we got. Here's the package. What do we think? And like, we would all chime in like, well, I think that's we should do a different approach or whatever that looks. And then ultimately he's the boss. Like, we could throw our ideas, but he can be like, well, thanks for your opinion, but I don't agree. We're going to do this because we don't see all the other things. Like, right?
Yeah.
You kind of get tunnel vision in what without looking at 30,000 feet, what the whole thing looks like.
And I think I always wonder, like, why can't officers communicate more? And I wonder if you've experienced it, like, why can't you tell me more? And like, maybe they can't. Like, actually, because they're not allowed to,
or they don't have enough time in the day to break it down to you
every single time. And so that's where like a mutual trust has to exist.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, trust me, please. Like, but you have to build that trust. You can't just hop on in like, we're doing it this way. Like, start with the little things. Like, hey, what do you think we're going to do, Chief or Sergeant, whatever?
Yeah. So I want to fast forward. So you're a commercial pilot now.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. I'm sure you enjoy it, but I really want to focus on your kind of transition back into civilian life. You've been out 3 years roughly now?
Almost exactly
3 years.
Yeah.
So that's twice as long as I've had out so far. So I guess what have you learned along the way?
Man, I
mean, what was it easy? Was it harder than you thought? Kind of what have you learned? What was helpful in trying to get back to kind of even keeled, or what was definitely not helpful? Just kind of your opinion on that.
So it's a little bit of the context kind of does matter. My last couple months in the military, I was very much out. I was doing a skill bridge, so I wasn't doing a lot of military play. And even before that, a skill bridge. Yeah. They do you are allowed to do an unpaid internship in the civilian world
while you're active on your way out. You're still getting
paid as an active duty.
Yeah,
you're on your way out. They allow you to kind of just it's a skill. You're bridging over to the civilian side. So that context matters. Also, my last 2 tours were effectively short tours, so I wasn't deploying. My wife never experienced me deploying.
Okay.
The most she experienced was when we were dating. I deployed once.
Yeah, I was going to ask if your family had started while you were in, or
So first kid was born when I was teaching a helicopter. We got married right when I got to the helicopter teaching squadron. Had our first kid when I was there, and then moved to our last command. And that was effectively a short tour for me. I didn't go on any missions or anything like that. So that was, that context does matter because I'm still in the military, but I'm able to be home.
More like a 9 to 5.
Yeah, a lot more 9 to 5. A lot more just I got to fly tonight for a couple hours, go to work for a couple, go fly, do my thing.
Sure.
So that was one aspect, and I learned this actually when I was at, what was it? It was midway. I think it was after my first deployment, and my parents had come down to see me after my deployment. They come like, oh, hey, you're back from 7 months, and they spent a couple days with me. And as a buddy of mine was like, yeah, this is our family. And my dad took me aside later. He's like, it's not your family, man. Your family's your family. Like, these are your friends. These are your people that you're with. Maybe you could even say your community right now. So I started just thinking about that, separating that, drawing a line there, because I think it's easy to take these people that you're with all the time, and you are sharing very intimate, very deeply effective moments, going out to combat, driving around, and you're at risk all the time, all these deep things, and it starts to feel like your family. But that person may always be there in the rest of your life, but you got to start. I think there's a separation that needs to happen again.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I actually started in my church. I started meeting other people that were not military at all, and that was actually awesome because I could totally start separating.
Yeah.
Military's over there, and the rest of my life's over here.
I had a very similar situation with church. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's starting to separate the two tribes kind of thing.
And I think that was great for me too, because I wasn't just all in on the military, and then once you're out, you're like, what do I do now? Because I've heard plenty of other pilots that they always said what I miss the most is the wardroom. The wardroom is what we call the officers collection of officers, I guess, because you would all meet in the wardroom. So I miss the wardroom, I miss the guys, and go and fly. I'm like, I miss that too, but that wasn't my life. When I go to work, we'd hang out, we'd shoot the shit, and then I go fly and I go home.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some guys would stay there and just drink a beer 4 hours after their flight. Like, yeah, dude. Anyways, we're just hanging. I'm like,
kind of becomes their whole identity.
Kind of, right. So I had that context of I had already started putting those things into the appropriate places. So getting out, it wasn't like my whole life is gone, right?
Yeah.
My family was growing. We moved here. Now, I will say I still struggled. I think I just didn't realize where I was struggling. And this is where, Paul, you and I talked one of the first times we got coffee. You said I need to find a tribe. And that's where I've faltered. So I had friends back in Jacksonville where I found those other church guys, and great group of guys of friends. I still try and go down there once a year. We have rent a house on the beach and hang out and just
do
guy stuff, hang out and all that. But they were there. They're not here. And I kind of just put my head down well, I'll just go work. And then, but I started going crazy here. I was like, I got no one to hang out with. And I'm one of the, some people can just no, I just be with my family and go to work and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, me.
I need friends. I need to go get coffee with somebody. It energizes me. Okay, it gives me some life again to get going. And honestly, it wasn't until recently that I started realizing all right, I try it at some times, like start building my own tribe. I would do this thing called rosary, or what would I call it? Like whiskey rosary, I think I did. So we'd get a bonfire, say a rosary, and have a glass of, and then talk and shoot for hours, however long we wanted to be. But it was just, I kind of gave myself excuses like, oh, it's hard, my schedule's, and I'm gone half the time, because I leave 4 days at a time, and it's like on a random weekend or whatever. Like, hey, we're free this week. I'm like, I'm not. All right, we'll try next month.
Yeah.
But that's always like what I'm working towards, is finding that. I think it's still necessary to have a tribe.
Yeah.
Yes, family is important. But so your question is about transition.
Yeah.
I think the transition overall wasn't hard, but in life, I needed to take that next step in transition. Like, all right, who is, we need our community.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just military transition. It was leaving my community that I built in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to rebuild that here now. And, I think you've opened a door for me, at least.
Oh, yeah.
So far. So I'm
that's we're talking about the ruck that we do every month. And that thing's been like super healing for me.
Yeah.
Just being, and the thing that's crazy about it is, I was trying to just find like-minded guys, right? Guys that were not satisfied with settling who they are right now. Right. I heard this actually, my priest gave a homily on this last week about the movie As Good as It Gets. Right. And, Jack Nicholson comes out. He got denied to see this psych, and he yells at everybody, is this as good as it gets? Or this is as good as it gets. He makes a statement. And I think that's the difference, right? There's a statement, this is as good as it gets, or, turning that into a question. Asking yourself, is this as good as it gets? Right. And the people that say yes, this probably not for them.
Complacency.
Yeah. But if you're saying no, or you're thinking about it, like, there's still that desire to learn and to keep moving and just keep finding people to be around with. Right. And I've met some of my best friends on that. Like I probably would have never met you if it wasn't for that. And it turns out we were in the same unit for a while, and, we have a lot of shared interests, and I'm just like, that's what this is all about there.
Not to get too spiritual, but I think it was like that week or a week prior, I was like, man, I don't have that many friends here.
Yeah.
I don't really have anyone here, right? To kind of like have an opportunity to like-minded people, and like, hey, you understand, or we can talk, or just shoot, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, keep saying the shit, but it's my favorite thing. And then what I actually love more is like getting deeper.
Yeah.
Not just like, we were shooting or whatever. No, like I want to, let's talk about philosophy or like
real conversation.
I don't want to just talk about guns and knives all day. Right. I get bored.
I don't know enough, so I feel stupid when people start talking about guns. Like,
yeah,
I have a SIG. Cool.
Well, it's like, to your point, you said last time about, if you were able to have a crew and like a tribe and like a team that you just love to be around, you felt like they were family almost. It's awesome that you had that, and cherish that and hold on to it, because you're never going to have that again. But just appreciate the fact that you were able to have that at least once. But I think it goes a step further, and you can still have something similar. It won't be the same, right, on that level, but it could be the same on different levels on where you're at in life and what you need now. That team was great for when we were being violent. That is not what I need now.
Absolutely.
I don't need to have guys that will stack on a door and run in this, and shoot some people.
God willing, we don't, right?
Yeah, right.
Not right now.
But if we do, I
know where to get
call some guys. But I appreciate you sharing that, man. I think it's important just to know that don't make your experiences in law enforcement or in the military your entire identity. There's a lot more to every single body or every single person out there that is more than that. And you just got to find, you're in the next chapter of your life. Find what makes sense for that chapter of life you're in right now.
Yeah.
You can still love that you had it.
For sure.
Right. But don't hold on to it now, because that's not who you are now, and that's certainly not what you should be doing now necessarily.
I think the inverse sometimes is like, you look at it negatively, like, why did I do that? That was stupid.
Oh yeah.
But
I've done that. Yeah.
To take the flip, I'm like, it's what I needed then.
Yeah.
You know, it's how I got to where I am now. And now I can just continue moving forward.
And even with the ruck, I think every time, like how blessed and grateful I am to have a group of men that are so different than the team I had before, but the same kind of thought process. And hey, we're not settling. We're not content with what we're doing. We're not getting complacent. We want to be better.
Yeah.
Take it all day long.
Yeah.
So,
you know, Alex, I think part of what we're doing in this podcast is, you know, for the younger generations, guys that, you know, are in law enforcement, military, doing what you guys did, is like, what advice would you give a younger guy, right, coming out, or what that looks like? And I think you were smart enough to recognize that there will be a transition and putting those things in place to transition out. I was not that smart. Literally the day I retired, we were booting doors, and then I left, and it was like, uh-oh, what now, right?
Dang.
So I really, I don't know, I guess applaud you for recognizing that what the transition is going to be and putting those things in place prior, instead of just coming out and just being lost, like I think many guys are. And I think, you know, for the younger guys listening, they're coming to the end of that career, is understanding, putting those things in place, and understanding that, like you said, that's not your only identity, because when I left, that's all I had. And then what, right? And then, you know, it's not good. So I applaud you for recognizing that. There's a reason that guys like you go to the Naval Academy. There's meatheads like me that barely passed high school, right? Yeah. So
I got lucky.
That's the difference. So again, I applaud you for that, and I would definitely encourage the younger guys that are coming to that period in their life to take your advice on that.
Yeah, and it's not just one day you've got it figured out. It's something you have to work on every single day.
Absolutely, and you not just transition, but
I do.
Man, the amount of times I fail as a dad, as a husband, there's no, I like saying there's no such thing as a perfect flight. Like, I'm still searching for it. Like, I miss, not critical switch. Don't worry, everybody. Like, a switch, like, damn it. You know, I forgot, like, yep, that happens. Like, no such thing as a perfect flight. You're going to miss a radio call. You're going to miss a frequency. You're going to do something a little off. It's just getting it as close as you can. And then if you do mess it up, start over the next day. It's the next day, you know, new day tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm definitely going to steal your thought process on what's different today.
I like that too. Really like that was a good piece of information. I think that's a good thing to leave with too, man.
I like it.
Appreciate you coming in, brother.
It's an honor.
Yeah, man.
Always
appreciate your service.
Talking to you.
Absolutely.
Let's do this again sometime.
I'd love it.
Yeah. All right, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in again to another Watching the War.